Welcome back to the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Woods, also back, and I'm here with Daily Thunder beat writer Brandon Rahbar. Brandon, how are you?
Confused. Absolutely confused by what happened tonight in Oklahoma City with the Thunder.
They make 0 sense. Like 0 cents. They blow out the get blown out by the Rockets, who hit a record number of threes and then shoot 23%, I believe, from three tonight. Score only 87 points against a team that doesn't have Shai for the entire game and Dort for half the game. It really does make no sense.
Or George Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and Dort only played 9 minutes, like you said. The Thunder had zero business winning this game. The Rockets have won 6 in a row, just beat the Thunder by 30 points. I mean, the Thunder were trying their best to hand them a win. Say, here you go. You want to compete and make the playoffs? Here's a free W. We're going to sit our best player, and, one of our next 3 best players is out for a month. Our second, third, or fourth best player is only going to play 9 minutes. I know they didn't have John Wall, but they still had Oladipo, Wood, Boogie Cousins, House, Gordon. I mean, The Thunder had no business winning this game, and it's not that they just won. They blew them out. They were up by 30 at one point. I know it was only a 17-point game at the end, but it was much worse than that. It was like 25 points for the majority of the fourth quarter.
Yeah. If I had told you at the beginning of the game, the final score will be 104-87. What chances would you have given that score was a Thunder win?
I would have told you, hey, the Thunder kept it closer than I thought that they would.
I would have been like, wow, defense played pretty good. 104 points, that's not bad. 87's as good as they could have done.
Steve McGehee from Channel 9 News, he's my Thunder media sitting partner buddy. I don't know what you'd call it. I sit next to him kind of, in this COVID era where sitting next to somebody is like 8 feet away with some glass in between us.
Right. Your seatmate.
Seatmates, yeah, my seatmate. It's like soulmate, but seatmate. We were meant to be seated next to each other. Before the game, he's like, what would you put the odds are that the Thunder will score over 90 points? Without SGA and Hill against the Rockets, who have one of the best defenses in the league since the James Harden trade. And I said, I'll give them 25% chance that the Thunder hit 90 points tonight. Just absolutely, and it was the Rockets that didn't hit 90 points. Yeah. They ended up with 87.
Yeah. For one team to not reach 90 and it not be the Thunder is really insane. So they got 18 and 12 from Darius Bazley, 19 from Kenrich Williams. He was a game high plus 24 off the bench, plus 24. 13 from Roby. I was looking at his plus minus. 17 from Horford, 16 from Diallo. I thought they got some good minutes from Maladone, and by good minutes, I just mean he stonewalled Victor Oladipo on that one drive, and that counts for a lot.
Dude, that was the play of the game.
It was.
I audibly said "whoa" out loud, which is kind of like a no-no, probably. I don't know what the when you're in the media.
You're so far away from people. Who cares?
Exactly. And I'm kind of like a poser in the media anyway, let's be honest. I'm a fan masquerading as a media member.
There you go.
I've got them all fooled. Yeah, and we're so far away. But I audibly yelled out when he did that because it was so – I did not expect that. You got Victor Oladipo, former all-star. He's going to the rim hard. And Maladone stood – he's flashed a lot, Maladone has, since he's been a starter. But it's been on the offensive end. On the defensive end, he hasn't looked all that great. He's trying, but that was such a great defensive play to stand him up. It was like a block / steal / rebound all in one. It was an incredible play from him.
his play on the offensive end so far has been really impressed with his shot and his passing, but he really showed his physicality tonight. I thought in the lane, like first contact didn't stop him. He kept going and was taking contact in the lane closer to the basket, and then obviously that really sweet block at the rim. I thought he played pretty well, especially given that he was the lead guard tonight. Um, Horford's just he's just great. Like
He
he
is.
just does so many things well. Baisley shot the ball well tonight, had 12 rebounds, 4 from the free throw line, hit 2 threes, 6 for 13 from the floor. Their numbers are fine. Like their numbers aren't outstanding, but they're fine. Like they're good. And they held the Rockets to 87 points. Like it's just very confusing. And to be honest, I was frustrated with the win because this is a game they should lose. And there are going to be a lot more of these games that we go into thinking this is going to be a loss. And the team just I think you talked about it after the game. The team just plays too hard no matter who is out there. They give an incredible effort. They move the ball really well. Players move like it's just not they are not built for an extended losing streak, and as someone who is looking for one of those, it's very disappointing.
Yeah, it's here's the deal. They're out talented almost every single night. I mean, besides Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Al Horford and George Hill and arguably Lou Dort, but that's not top tier talent. It's talent, especially Shea. But they're going against teams with top 10, top 15 players or two or three top 30 players, and the Thunder have a bench full of second rounders or cast offs or undrafted guys, and they're playing a lot of third stringers. They're playing rookies. They're playing 19-year-olds, and yet they're 9-11 in 20 games, despite being out talented almost every night. And the only explanation is their effort, their energy. They will not be out hustled. They will not be out efforted, and that says a lot. And I think that's a testament to this team and their will and their fight and their competitiveness. And Mark Daigneault's got to start getting some credit. I mean,
Yeah.
for the way this team is playing. I mean, you've got to give credit to the head coach for all of them buying in for such a young team to be competitive. We're 20 games in now. This isn't like we're 5 games in and it's fluky or whatever. And here's the deal. The Thunder are going to lose a lot of games. Make no mistake. They've got a schedule coming up for the rest of February, which is just brutal. But they keep winning these games that nobody thinks that they can win. I mean, going into tonight, everybody thought they were going to lose. So that's effort, and that's coaching, and that's this team. It's just impressive. It's just impressive. Despite needing those losses for a high draft pick, you got to tip your hat to this team and this coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing you look at when talking about a coach is one, do they relate well to their players, and in turn, do those players play really hard for them? And it sounded like that both of those things were big check marks for Mark coming into this season. So not really a surprise, but that is showing itself in the win column right now. They are winning games despite being a really bad offensive team. They rank in the bottom 3. They were one as the worst offensive team in the league. I don't know where they rank their defensive rating is this week, but their numbers show that they are a bad team, and yet their record is right there with a lot of these teams that we hold in high regard.
Yeah, their overall net rating, I think the last I saw was second to worst in the league, and yet they've got the 11th worst record in the league. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't match up at all, and that's why so many people keep saying, "Oh, the losses will come, the losses will come." But they've always say that you can't, put a number on effort, or you can't measure somebody's heart in the box score. Those are like kind of generic cliched sports sayings. But with this Thunder team is really true. And again, I think the Thunder are going to lose a lot of games, but I think that they're going to win a lot of games that nobody thinks they're going to win because of that effort and that heart. I mean, as cheesy as that may sound, I think it's true. They have no business being 9-11. I think the Rockets walked in and just expected to win tonight, just like I think everybody in that arena watching expected the Rockets to walk in and win tonight, like you and I did. And the Thunder didn't expect that. They're like, well, we're playing 100% no matter what. And if they catch the Rockets playing 60%, they're going to beat them. And that's what happened.
The schedule appears to be difficult, and we're looking at this stretch like, okay, now here's where the extended losing streak comes, and we're like 30% of the way through this season, and they're a game below 500. Like, at some point we just have to call this team what it is. Either their numbers or their record will eventually start to mirror their numbers and their rating, or they will remain an anomaly and win close to half their games, despite not having great offensive or defensive ratings.
I think, it's nuts. It's to the point where so far into the season, I know that so many people listening and that follow the Thunder are like, well, the losses are going to come. And I get that. The schedule is going to get hard. But everybody thought that the January schedule had a ton of losses in it, and they overperformed yet again. They overperformed in December. They overperformed in January. I think they're about to pick up a ton of losses. But they do have the Timberwolves the next 2 games. And then if they pick up a few wins that they have no business of doing, all of a sudden we're looking at them again at the end of February saying, oh man, we're going into the second half of the season now. Better record than we thought. I do think that losses are coming because I think that they're going to be extremely cautious with injuries. They're like, oh, Shai, you stubbed your toe now? I don't know, man. You may need to sit this game out.
But I mean, are we sure that Shai isn't the player holding him back?
Right.
Yeah. Totally kidding.
They're undefeated without Shai this season.
They are. So I was going to see what your thoughts were about Dort going out with that knee soreness, and then what you heard from coaches today about Shai.
Yeah, he went out, went to the locker room, never came back. And then Daigneault was asked about it, and he said that there's no updates until tomorrow morning. He didn't know anything and wouldn't know anything until tomorrow morning, so we're just kind of waiting. They called it knee soreness. That doesn't sound bad, so I don't expect it to be anything long-term or anything bad. I expect them to be very cautious with it, and maybe he misses a handful of games, 2 or 3 games, 5 games, even if it's not a big deal, just to be extra cautious with, their young core and their long-term health. So that's what I expect. Hopefully I'm not wrong, and it's something serious. You never know with injuries these days. Somebody can play with, get injured and then play a whole nother half, and then you find out it's a long-term deal. I don't expect that from knee soreness, but we'll find out tomorrow morning.
And I believe it was since Monday they announced George Hill's thumb operation. Was that yesterday or Monday, or was that did he play Monday? I'm blanking.
So the last game he played was against the Clippers. He's missed the Trailblazers, Suns, Nets, and both Rockets games. But I remember after that Clippers game, with the thumb injury, he was asked about it. He's like, it's no big deal. I'll be fine. And yet he misses the next couple games, has surgery, and he's out for a month. It was a minor surgery.
I was going to ask what you thought that would do for his potential trade value.
It's kind of a bummer because if a team, wanted to pick him up early, like now, I think that it will delay it. I don't think it will affect his long-term trade value. People know what they're going to get with George Hill. They know that they're going to get an elite three-point shooter, somebody that's going to score you about 12 points a night on really high efficiency, about 40% from 3. He's going to be able to play make and play solid defense. He's going to help your team. Any playoff team or contender, he's going to help them. And the trade deadline is not until March 25th. He'll probably be back early March. So he's still got trade value. I wouldn't worry about that. But it is kind of a bummer in case there was a team that was, a little desperate and wanted him earlier than that, though.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I kept thinking about the Nets, watching them struggle to guard on the perimeter. I was like, man, that would be a perfect landing spot for George Hill. Fourth team tank, you got a big gift from the Washington Wizards tonight, who took out Miami at home. A little bit of a comeback win. They are feisty. They score a ton, and no lead is safe against the Washington Wizards. So yeah, they come back and get the win on the road, and Miami's pick is sitting at 4 right now.
Yeah, this night, if your team tank, despite the Thunder winning, if there's ever going to be a night for the Thunder to win, this was still a great night for the tank because they beat the Rockets. So that's still a win because they have the Rockets swap rights possibly. Or the Heat. The Heat got a loss down to 7-14. The Wizards, who had one of the worst records, get a win. The Knicks get a win. The Pelicans get a win. The Kings get a win. And so it was a great night. As far as tankathon.com goes in the Thunder's eyes, is when you get a win and still make up that much ground with the other teams, as far as picks go, it was a good night overall.
So Oklahoma City's pick sits at 11. Houston's is at 13. And then, like I said, Miami's is at 4. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch the rest of the year. Like those are the teams, and obviously Oklahoma City gets the 2 best of those 3 teams. And if Golden State can continue to win, and that pick gets into the 20s, then they could be looking at 3 first-round picks, and 2 of them being really, really valuable.
There's so much potential there. And let's be honest, there's teams behind, or I don't know if you call it ahead or behind the Thunder, but Toronto, Dallas, and unfortunately probably Miami at the very least will probably pass the Thunder.
For sure.
Maybe the Pelicans. I'm not going to say maybe the Pelicans. The Pelicans will. They are definitely trying to win, and they have talent. So the Thunder will fall back. And they're only 2 games back of the number 5 spot right now. So, I mean, they're not that far away from being a bottom team. It's just going to take a few losses and a couple other teams getting a few wins.
The Heat are they're at an interesting spot because we are 20 games into a 72 game season now. It does feel, and they had all of their main rotation guys playing tonight at home and lost. So it's not that they are unbeatable even when they're fully healthy. And they feel like a team that is kind of teetering along with Dallas, like they're, an injury or a guy tests positive and can't play away from still dealing with this lack of continuity and trying to find who they are. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch both Dallas and Miami, but if you're a Thunder fan, Miami.
I'm excited about what could possibly happen with that Miami pick. I mean, nobody even considered the fact that a team that went to the finals last year could end up being a great pick for the Thunder, but it's unprotected. So that opens up so many possibilities. They're in the 4 spot right now. And like you said, they're at full strength now. I know Jimmy Butler is out for a long time, but they're at full strength, and they lost to the Wizards without Russell Westbrook tonight. They lost to the Hornets the game before at full strength. They barely beat the Kings by 1 point before that. This team does not look great right now. And they've got the Wizards, Knicks, but then they've got Rockets, Jazz, Clippers, Warriors, Kings, Lakers. They got the Raptors later, Jazz. They've got some tough games coming up too. I mean, this could end up being a pretty valuable pick for the Thunder if things go right, or I guess for the Heat go wrong.
And I agree with you. I fully expect them to win games. I don't think they're going to stay here.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because it feels like they are close. It feels like the margin is very thin. They've got to go 28 and 23 or 29 and 22 the rest of the way to get to 500. Like it's kind of crazy to think where that that even if that pick is, 13, 14, even if they miss the playoffs and it's a late lottery pick, like that's a really valuable, especially when it comes to trading up. You want to have, if you want to trade up, you want to have your pick be a solid to great pick, and you want to have more ammunition, and that Miami pick gives them that.
That's what's exciting to me. Coming into the season, you thought the Rockets at one point had James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and then the Heat just went to the Eastern Conference Finals. You're like, oh well, the better of those two. Maybe the Thunder will luck out and they'll get like the 23rd pick. I mean, you're kind of looking like that's what it would be. Now, I mean, between the Rockets and the Heat, I mean, a worst case scenario now might be the 16th, 17th pick. In a worst case scenario, that's pretty great as far as a worst case scenario goes. And the best case could be so exciting.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Looking ahead, Oklahoma City has tomorrow. They have tomorrow night off, and then they are playing the Minnesota Timberwolves at home on Friday at 7 p.m. Central. And this is another game. Not sure if they're going to have Towns. They didn't tonight, so it will be interesting to see what Oklahoma City looks like, who they have playing, and do they come out and get another win, or does Minnesota come in? Like Oklahoma City start off with such a bad. They've been a bad home team, so another reason that tonight was such a surprise. But we will see if they can get to 2 in a row at home against the Timberwolves on Friday.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect with the Timberwolves. They played the Spurs tough tonight. They were up by like 17 at one point and ended up blowing it in the fourth quarter. But if Karl Anthony Towns is back, he's on this road trip with them. If Towns is back, who knows? Because the Thunder's biggest weakness is defending the rim. I mean, they don't really have – Al Horford is awesome. But besides him, they have very little rim protection. And so Cat could feast if he ends up playing, if he comes back against the Thunder. But if Cat doesn't play, Thunder could get a couple more wins before they start picking up some losses.
All right, Brandon, do you have anything else from tonight? Any shout outs you want to give from what you saw in the arena tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just a shout out to the team as a whole. These, they call them the Breakfast Club, the third stringers. Isaiah Roby let us know that was their team nickname for the third stringers. By the way, shout out to Isaiah Roby. It's his birthday today as well, 23rd birthday. But those guys played so hard. They play above their heads. They play with so much effort. So just tip a hat to them. Darius Baisley had a great game. He's kind of broken out of his slump, which is really nice to see. And Kenrich Williams, I think that we got to start taking him seriously as a bench piece. He doesn't seem like it, but that effort and that hustle has translated into being a solid piece that maybe a contender or a playoff team would be interested in, if maybe packaging with George Hill to match salary. And that's just like a little extra sweetener. Maybe a team doesn't give up a first-round pick alone for George Hill, but you put maybe Kenrich Williams or Mike Muscala with George Hill, and all of a sudden you got a first-round pick. This season is going to be really exciting because this thing could go so many different ways for the Thunder. There's so many options. I got sidetracked. Shout out to Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Roby, and the entire Thunder second and third string for their effort tonight.
There you go. All right, we will wrap it there. We are back on Friday. Brandon, thanks so much for joining me.
Absolutely, man. Have a good night.